Well, if you haven't watched our last episode, make sure to do so. We're working on a holiday meal series using recipes from Amelia Simmons' 1796 cookbook, American Cookery. Thanks for joining us today on 18th Century Cooking with James Townsend and Son. While these birds are finishing cooking, we're going to be working on the stuffing. Amelia Simmons suggested stuffing the bird before you roast it, but for safety purposes, we're going to be cooking this stuffing separately. For this recipe, we need 1 pound of wheat bread crumb, 3 eggs well beaten, along with 3 ounces of suet. Here I'm using a Torah suet, about a half a box. For spices, we'll use thyme, marjoram, salt and pepper, and we're adding a little sage. And last, I've got a gill of wine, which is about half a cup. This is such a simple recipe. All we really need to do is combine these ingredients and mix them up, and then toss them in our pan. Let's get these all mixed in. Are. We just want to get all our ingredients nice and mixed up. The pot here has already been well buttered. You don't want to pack it too tightly, just a light pack. Pack this in nicely, and then we're going to bake this with the lid on. We're going to bake this about an hour and a half or an hour and 15 minutes at 350 degrees. There it is, our bread pudding. It looks wonderful, but I'm not going to sample it yet. You're going to have to wait till we put this whole meal together. We're going to do one more recipe today. I'm going to do a cranberry sauce and a cranberry tart. I love Amelia Simmons' recipe for her cranberry sauce. It's stew, strain, and sweeten. How difficult could it be, right? We're going to use the same techniques that we used when we made our currant jelly and a currant tart. So we're going to make the sauce and then a tart. Now, I'm making a double batch. I've got 2 pounds of cranberries, and I'm going to add just enough water to them to cover them. These will need to boil about 15 minutes. And as they do, you'll begin to see the skin begin to break open. These have boiled for their 15 minutes. We're going to take a masher and mash them up. You do have to remember that if you do cranberries like this, whatever you use to mash them in will permanently be stained a nice cranberry color. Okay, these are nicely mashed up. If you don't have a sieve like this, you can use a jelly bag, just like we used in the currant jelly video. Cranberry must have a lot of pectin because it's already starting to set up. Pour the contents back into our cooking pot. Let's sugar it. We need to add about equal quantities, so you're going to have to sort of guess this unless you measure exactly what you got here. But I think we'll guess pretty well here. We're going to stick this back on the fire and let it simmer another 10 or 15 minutes. Half of this I'm going to pour into this tart tin with a paste. Any foamy skin that appears on the top of your tart, you can just skim that right off. The other half, I'm going to pour in to our little bowl here. This is our cranberry sauce, and it's going to thicken as it cools. The tart we're going to bake at 375 for about 25 minutes. Make sure the tart pan is well buttered so that the crust doesn't stick. We're not going to sample these right now. we're going to wait to put these together into this wonderful holiday feast. If you're new to our channel, I really want to welcome you. You can subscribe to our channel. You can check out our website or request a print catalog. I want to thank you for joining us today as we savor the flavors and the aromas of the 18th century.